Smile was directed by Parker Finn and is actually one of the latest horror movies in 2022 that's actually been legitimately really good so far. So we're going to talk about it, and make sure you guys hit the bell notification and also like the video if you guys have not already. So let YouTube know if you guys like my content or not, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you love looking at my hideous face. So essentially, the plot to the movie is basically after witnessing like a horrific incident that happens in a psychiatrist's office, this particular protagonist sees other people smiling all over the place and basically experiences great traumatic terrors throughout the entire movie. Now, are these real? Are these not? That begs the question. And right off the bat, I just want to say to you guys that this is a really well done movie. I was going to save that for the end, but it's really hard for me to really hide the fact that I really like this. Now, I'm not particularly super into the horror genre per se, but I do like a couple of movies in particular. One of my favorites, not even really horror, it's more suspense, and the horror is more in the body horror of The Fly. Just a masterclass in its filmmaking. I absolutely adore that movie. I also love other movies, such as Candyman, a really good classic, or even just, more lighthearted things like Friday the 13th, but a lot of people like those for various reasons, right? So I would say I'm pretty basic in terms of like horror movies, right? I like stuff that kind of tries stuff that's a bit different. I like movies that kind of like take its risks and kind of goes out there and tries newer things, which you could argue the fact that this is not necessarily a newer concept. I mean, one thing that I thought this was actually, when I saw the trailer, I thought this was like a sequel to like Truth or Dare or something like that.
You die.
Which I do want to do a bad movie review this month for Truth or Dare, because I'm reviewing Smile. I have to review that movie. That is a treat. This movie very well does its own little spin, not necessarily on Truth or Dare, but the whole concept of people smiling and stuff like that, and doesn't go as over the top. And they actually make smiles creepy. That's a hard thing to do. It's hard to make smiles creepy. It really is. With the right lighting, they were able to accomplish it in this movie. And when they were using it for like dramatic moments or moments to kind of make you feel uneasy or unsettled or really uncomfortable, they really did a phenomenal job at doing that in this particular movie. The movie is titled Smile. You should have the main thing that you're focusing on, which is the smiles, be the most frightening thing, right? Really, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is one of those rare movies too where I don't really hate any particular character in this movie. A lot of people can get annoyed at what the other characters are saying to the protagonist, and everybody would be like, why aren't they believing her and stuff like that? But due to the fact that there is some prior backstory established with this character's past that particularly relates to maybe mental illness and stuff like that in her family, that when she begins to maybe see some of these things, those things might be questioned, right? You would look at a lot of this stuff and be like, that's absolutely ridiculous, but you do have history of this, so maybe you are not particularly sane. And that's why when people treat her the way they do in this movie, it's really hard for me to really hate that, because really I would even begin to question her and stuff like that. So really in this movie there's not a single character that I can think of right off my head or the top of my head that I really hated. I didn't hate a single character.
You what?
Even A-Train, the guy who played as A-Train in this movie, was likable. And you know how much I hate A-Train in The Boys. I think we all hate A-Train in The Boys, but the actor who played as him in this movie, I didn't even hate him. The way they build atmosphere with a lot of the shots and stuff like that. There are so many moments that you think would lead to a particular moment where they do like a cheap jump scare or something like that. But no, it's more of the intensity that kind of gets your heart racing a little bit, anticipating that jump scare, and then it doesn't happen. Like, at all. And you're like, well, when's it going to happen? Really, the only moments with jump scares I can really think about, like legitimate jump scares, was at the end of the movie. And by that point, it's the climax, and they're facing something that's maybe a bit supernatural and something like that, or maybe something that's actually in her head. You don't know what to believe. And in that moment, they start pulling out all the jump scares, but it absolutely felt necessary, and it felt like it was built up to, right? The way this movie is shot, absolutely gorgeous. Love the cinematography. I gotta look up the cinematographer, but really good stuff. Was able to do certain shots that just were really well done. My favorite shot in the movie, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it has to do with a particular creature that happens at the end, and the way that it emerges from the darkness and stuff like that. You guys will see what I'm talking about. That actually, even though the creature design wasn't particularly scary to me, the way they shot it was actually kind of unsettling, and it bothered me quite a bit. Main shot in the movie that I think is the money shot for me, and it's the most disturbing shot. It's the shot that I saw in the trailer that actually made me kind of, tense up a bit. Was, the whole part with the head coming down in front of the car.
I'm just really scared that something bad is going to happen.
That was absolutely disturbing, and that's really the thing behind this movie review, is the fact that this movie is very, very disturbing. There are disturbing elements, disturbing ideas, disturbing concepts, and disturbing things that happens to certain characters that feels really, really unsettling. And the fact that they were actually able to make a movie about smiling, disturbing, and unsettling does a lot, and I gotta commend this. This movie felt very planned out, felt very controlled, but at the same time felt very natural. You can tell the person who shot this movie, wrote this movie, or did whatever, the director knew what he was doing. And this clearly feels like a passion project. It really does. And it's actually one of the fewer horror movies in particular that I can think about that actually stood out to me. There are a couple that did, but this one actually did stand out to me quite a bit, and I gotta commend the director for that. So in that regard, I don't think it's tops tier film worthy, but I will say it's a great film. I mean, it falls short of my tops tier because there are a couple of instances where I'm kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I can see that coming, or I could see that coming, or, that's a bit predictable, or this moment here I felt like was maybe a little bit too silly in a particular part. There's something that they do at a birthday party that could be seen as disturbing, but at the same time, I just kind of laughed because I was like, wow, I kind of saw that coming, and it wasn't in a good way, but all in all, I don't have too many complaints about this movie. I would actually recommend this to you if you guys like to think during your horror movies, or like to kind of explore different concepts and stuff like that. This will be the movie for you. But if you're looking for something that's like cheap jump scare, or like lots of like slashing or slasher villain stuff, this is not going to be the movie for you at all. Made it this far in the video, I very much appreciate you guys. Halloween month has officially began. Bunch of Halloween movie reviews coming out. Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to be putting in overtime this month, and I will be taking a break the month after. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys like the video, make sure you guys first comment below what you guys thought of the movie, if you guys have seen it already, or what you guys are looking forward to in the movie, and make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe today to join the Azulization.